Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful Bearded Browns podcast show. 53-man roster day. Well, kind of. It's not official, but they kind of, pencil it in. They didn't put it in pen yet. It's penciled in. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the game, obviously, the preseason game that happened also. But most importantly, we have a special guest with us today. I don't even call him a guest anymore. He's just the fifth man of the show. He comes in. He leaves, but he leaves us a lot better than he left us. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Barry Shuck, our guy from Dawgs By Nature. How you doing, Barry?
I am doing well. This being NFL Cut Day, there was news that kind of took over today, and that now Taylor Swift is engaged. So forget about all these cuts. Forget about all these NFL players and who's on what team. Now we can start getting our best shoes and our best suit ready, because I'm sure all five of us are going to get an invite.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Taylor Swift, making this all about you, like usual, man. I'm just playing. I like you, Taylor. Don't cancel us. Either way, we're going to talk about the 53-man roster. You guys want to start it off? You guys want to start off with the most important position in an NFL, the quarterback position. So we have 3 on our roster, even though Barry said there will be 4. Well, technically we have 4. Just one is
not this Barry, the other Barry.
Yeah. We technically have 4, but the other one's on the PUP list. Maybe we can talk about that later. Either way, we have 3 quarterbacks. We got Flacco, Gabriel, and Sanders. One is missing. I'm fine. It's perfectly fine. I will be fine. Either way, Kenny Pickett was traded yesterday for a 5th-round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders, which, by the way, is not being talked about enough, how Barry traded a 5th for him and got a 5th back, which shows that Barry, it probably took advantage of the desperation of the the Las Vegas Raiders. Either way, any comments about this? The 3, and he just named Gabriel as a backup about maybe 2 hours ago. So, what do you guys comment? You guys okay with these 3?
Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Barry, you go first. You're the guest.
I think we're in trouble with quarterback.
Okay.
Let's just take Flacco. Flacco has been very durable. He's in his 18th year and very durable. He's only had 1 knee injury, 20 games in 17 years. But let's just say, for instance, that in week 2 or week 4, he gets hurt and he's out. He's out for 1. He's out for 5 games. He's out the rest of the season. Are we going to go the rest of the season with Dylan Gabriel at starting quarterback, B, Shedeur Sanders? Both are rookies. Both played against second-team guys in all preseason games. They look good at times. They look bad at times. That's who we're going to go the rest of the season as our backup quarterback. I think we need to bring in some kind of veteran. Of course, they cut Tyler Huntley. They can still claim him. Maybe he goes through waivers. Put him on the practice squad. They can make him one of the 4 protected players and put him on there. But they have got to bring in a veteran. I just don't see how we're going to go through with this new angled offense that's going to run the ball all the time with one of these 2 rookies. One's a 3rd rounder, one's a 5th rounder. And Shedeur, what's the stigma about Shedeur is they just don't know. They don't know what they got with him. Is he going to be a superstar or is he a flop? They don't know. What they don't want to do is release him, waive him, and then him up starting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like what happened with Baker Mayfield, as a what if. What if he is great? We don't want to release him. Back in the 50s, the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Johnny Unitas. They didn't play him in any preseason games. They took him in the 9th round. Then they cut him. They didn't like him. Then he ended up being one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. They don't want Shedeur to fill in that. So I think the Browns need to find a backup quarterback. Now, who could that be? I know the Bills cut Mike White. Let's see.
The old mayor of Cleveland?
Cincinnati cut Desmond Ridder. We've got to bring in somebody. Detroit, Hendon Hooker. I thought he was good coming out. Or Tyler Huntley. We've got to get. That's my opinion. Is I think we got to get a seasoned veteran in here that's played the league, because you played at Oregon. Yes, you played at Colorado. That's not the end. That's not these safeties. When you get 25, 26, you're in the athletic prime of your life. You're not a kid that was just 2 years removed from high school that is going to fool you at safety. They've got to get some kind of veteran in. I understand why they kept the 2 guys. I would keep them. I would put them on the bench. I would only play them if I had to all year. But in order to do that, you've got to have somebody that's got NFL game starts to come in and play behind Flacco.
Yeah. Mike?
So I would love to see these rookies out there. Don't get me wrong. You guys all know that I was not a Sanders fan in the beginning. I didn't want to draft him, but we did. So I back up any quarterback that we bring to this team. I do, except one, obviously. One guy that I do not back at all. That's to be known, obviously, correct? Anyways, I think Joe Flacco is going to be good for about 5 or 6 games, and that is about it. I think his clock is just there. It's not going to be what we think it's going to be, unfortunately. I saw him play Saturday live in person, and I know it's a preseason game. That's fine. I get that. But at the end of the day, we need a guy that could withstand playing against the elite of the NFL, not just a couple second, third, fourth stringer guys. I think that we're going to see all 3 of these quarterbacks play, plus another guy that we're going to pick up, because the 53-man roster, like Angel said, is penciled in. It's not done. We're going to find somebody else, and you might see that guy play. We all love the Flacco fever. We all love what he brought to Cleveland, but I don't think he's in it for longevity. I think he's in it for the fun right now, and it's going to come to an end eventually.
Okay. How about you, Sam?
I'm with Barry, man. I totally thought that going into the season it was going to be hard to keep 4 quarterbacks. I figured we'd have to figure out a way to do that, because I did want your QB1 veteran. I wanted a QB2 backup. It just needed to be that way, so these other kids can learn behind these guys. I'm old school like that. And then the Kenny Pickett thing, I was actually kind of shocked about it. I go, well, there goes that equation. And then they already got rid of Huntley too. I'm like, what are they doing here, man? We need 2 veterans going into this season. Anything can happen at any time, guys. We know this. Joe is durable, okay, but anything can happen. What happens if game 1 against Cincinnati? I hate to paint pictures, but something happens to Flacco and we're throwing Dylan into the fire right away. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't think that's not gonna work out. I mean, you did it with DTR. He looked like crap. Is that what you want to do to these guys? So I don't know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I know they're the guys. They're smarter than me, and I'm hoping they pull a veteran guy in here to fill in that gap that they need there at that too. That you just have to have a veteran. You have to have 2 veterans going into this season. Absolutely, that's it.
Chad is staring into
absolutely. And speaking of DTR, in 2023, the Browns took him in the 5th round. It was the darling of the preseason. Everybody went, "Wow, look what Andrew Barry dug up. Well, we've got this superstar in waiting. He's going to eventually be our starting." Deshaun Watson got hurt week 4. DTR, not Jameis Winston. DTR started against the Ravens. Horrible game. Completed 13 passes. The offense scored QBR rating of 25.3, 3 interceptions, 4, 5, 6. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And we realized that DTR against second team guys, yes, is a great quarterback. DTR's against a starting 11 defense was absolutely nothing. He eventually got traded. The Eagles cut him yesterday, so we know his track. That's what's going to happen with the, just like Sam said, we got to find a veteran to come in here. Casey Keenum is quarterback or the backup quarterback with the Chicago Bears. I know he's 37 years old, but he's played a ton of NFL stars. Maybe they could do a trade with him. The 5th round pick we got for Kenny Pickett, yeah, that's great for next year. That does not help the Browns this year. That didn't help them at all. They can't do anything with that 5th round pick this year to help this roster. But if he had stayed on the roster, we had our experience back up. Played 30 games, 25 NFL starts. Yes, he's not a great quarterback, but he's an experienced guy, and we've got to find somebody to replace him.
Yeah, I think I agree. Chad?
Okay, I'm going to be the lone man out. So it's not that I totally disagree. I think
okay, cut his mic off.
Kenny Pickett was that option. So, and I'm not projecting. I'm shocked that we moved on from him. I even thought I thought there was no market for him, and then I kind of changed my tune when Aiden O'Connell went down. Yeah. And I went, well, people kept saying oh, they're going to trade for him in New Orleans. And I said, first of all, New Orleans is bad. If they don't have a quarterback in that room ready, they'll be happy to be bad, tank, and pick one next year. I don't think they're looking for a Kenny Pickett. So I never saw that fit. When Aiden O'Connell went down, I saw that fit immediately. Behind Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett fits very well. In fact, he's a closer player to Geno Smith than he ever would be Joe Flacco. So I saw the fit. I was still surprised because I was like, they picked him up for a 5th. He seems really valuable. Then we all thought he was who they wanted to come through this competition, the winner. So I guess I was surprised when they made the move. But now in my head, I'm thinking I am on board. I suggested earlier, I could see them bringing back Snoop Huntley as just a veteran emergency guy to put on the practice squad. And if Flacco by chance gets hurt sometime this season, especially early, you're like, oh no, we don't want to just toss the rookies in there. But I think the one thing we're discounting is the idea that they're not going to get somebody better than Kenny Pickett in here, and they're certainly not going to do it for a 5th or less. So they're looking at not probably doing that. They could bring somebody in for free, but it's going to have to be somebody that's okay being on the practice squad, because I think when they made that decision, move on from Kenny, they were saying holding on to Shador and not giving up too many of our young, talented guys on this roster was more important to us than this quarterback position for this year. And then the other thing I would say is everybody kind of knows my stance on Dylan. I think they drafted him to be the backup down the line eventually. I think they drafted him to be the bridge, knowing that Flacco and Pickett were probably their first 2 guys, but would be gone. And next year, they would have to have someone who knows the offense, the scheme, the way things run, still in the room. And he was going to be their transition guy, maybe start the year, whatever. He was that guy. And I think we've made some comparisons to DTR, but I am just one who thinks DTR sucks. I don't think it was just that he was a rookie and he sucked because they put him in. I just think he stinks. He stinks here. He stunk for the Eagles. And I think Dylan is a first-round level talent if he were 3 inches taller, but he's not, so he went in the 3rd round. I thought DTR was a 5th-round talent who got picked in the 5th round. And I think that's my difference is I think Dylan has a ceiling based on his height, but I think they looked at this draft and said, gosh, outside of Cam Ward, who's just going number 1, he's not on the table. The one guy we see that we think can play snaps in the NFL this year based on his skill set, his experience, and and how he plays the game in the offense we want to run is Dylan. And I think that's why he's here. And I'm not saying that means they're right. They could get kicked right in the butt for this. But I think this entire time they've been trying to scream to us, we like Dylan way more than everyone. We picked him in the 3rd because we knew somebody was taking him in the 4th, and we weren't going to let that happen because he is our guy. And like I said, I'm not saying he's Russell Wilson, but I think they think he can play NFL games soon.
Yeah,
so I'm just not sure. I don't disagree with any of you saying like a veteran would be nice. I just don't know if they think
they feel that way.
I agree. Move makes me think they're looking at the room and going, man, we nailed it with Pickett or with Gabriel. He's exactly what we hoped. And so that's where I think they're at.
Yeah, I totally agree with Chad 100% because I don't forget Haslam also said we need to see what we have in these rookie quarterbacks this year, because if they're good enough, then we're going to go into next year looking at other talent other than quarterback. But overall, I agree with Chad. I think Dylan will be the career backup. I do think he has a potential to maybe surprise some people because he's obviously surprised some of the media. But yeah, Dylan, I don't think there's an urgency to get one because I think they want Dylan to be the backup because he's going to be that for them here in the future. And they're going to test this kid and put him in the fire. If Flacco gets hurt, all right, let's see what you got, young man.
Skill-wise, he feels to me like a guy like almost like Gardner Minshew. Now, Gardner Minshew, I think, rolls out more than he might think. It looks like Dylan plays more in the pocket than I expected. I expected more Baker Mayfield constant rolling out, but maybe his hamstring doesn't allow it as much.
Yeah.
But I see like kind of a talent level NFL type guy as Minshew, where it's like, yeah, he's definitely, you'd rather he be your backup. If he does have to start a little, it's the question will be if Joe Flacco gets his head popped in game 1 and has to leave with a concussion and can't tough it out because the concussion docs are like, you're out this game. Yeah, we're all going to feel a little bit tense if Dylan goes trotting out like second quarter of the Bengals game. I guess there's not a better defense to start with, but like that is a stretch of 6 games where like, yeah, we're all hoping Flacco holds up because that's pretty early. But yeah, again, I don't imagine the Browns are bringing in anybody but a practice squatter. At least that's my thought.
Let's also hope Q gets signed because that would help alleviate the responsibility of any quarterback because you can hand off the ball a little bit more and be more run heavy. Let's move
on to running backs. That's why we're there.
Speaking of Q, let's go to running backs. They just have 2 right now, which is kind of surprising considering they normally carry 3 here. I do believe they just Sampson and Ford. That's it. They cut everybody else. Do you guys feel safe with the 2 that they have on the roster currently?
Absolutely not. That's just blows my mind because those guys take abuse. Running back position is a abused position. You get beat down, you get beat up. You got to have guys coming in and out. Now, I remember a time I think we had Jerome Ford, we had Strong, we had Chubb, and we had Hunt all on the same time going. We had 4, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be. I'm not.
Yeah, I thought it was 4. Yeah.
So, that's kind of scary to me. I mean, I thought we were kind of lacking in the wide receiver room, but we kind of worked some things out with Bond. And then now I'm like 2 running backs. Or did you guys bump your head? I mean, so now you don't have a veteran. You don't have a veteran backup. Okay. If Flacco goes down, you're going to throw Gabriel right in there. And then let's say Jerome goes down and then you got just Sampson. But I know that they're not going to do that because I actually heard on the way home, I listened to Stefanski. He did have a press conference on my way home. And he did say that all he left it is because he was asked. He says that there will be more than 2 running backs on the team. And he left it at that, which made me feel better because you can't go through a season with 2 running backs. Did you bump your head? I mean, you can't do that. You just can't do that, Yeah. So, and I was kind of surprised. I thought that Amani Marshall was looking really good, and
he
practice squad.
He's and then we've had Strong, and we've seen what we can get from Strong, but if you only got 2. You might want to keep one of them cats around. And I was actually hoping more. I was pushing for Marshall myself, but we'll see how it all plays out. Yeah, we'll see how it plays
there's
out.
No way. I think you're right, Sam. But I just think there's no way they're going in with 3. This tells me they either think they're getting Judkins or they know that they're waiver number 2 and they're going to very likely get one of like 2 guys they put waivers out for. But there's no way. Not only are they going in forward with 2, but they're not going to go forward with a back that can play short yardage because they don't have one. And so, like,
Yeah.
I assumed, like I said, this is not the final 53. This is the initial 53. I think Thursday we'll know the final 53. This feels more like we held on to guys that we didn't want to slip into waivers over, like, they're not worried about cutting strong. Maybe they're worried about cutting Larvadane because they don't want somebody to nab him. So, like, we'd rather hold him. He's not the one we want to release when QJ signs, because they're at 53 now. So if they do sign Quinton Judkins tomorrow, they're cutting somebody. So maybe they're like, that's a person we have a better chance to get through waivers then, now that teams are a day along. So I think that's the scheme they're going with, is like, let's cut guys we think we can get away with and keep the ones we're worried might get picked up. And so, but there's no way. You're right, Sam, and you're both right. There's no way they're planning on going in with 2. That would be, for this offense, that would be
Horrible.
That would be a horrible choice.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Guys, I love the comments coming in. We're trying to keep it kind of quick today. Barry, your ideal situation with the running back situation, and then if you want, you can clear up rest your positions before we let you go. I know you got some SpaghettiOs to eat, so
Yeah.
we're gonna.
Homemade.
Oh, SpaghettiOs.
Homemade from scratch.
You're a liar. Send me some.
Well, I think you're exactly right. Traditionally, the Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski era, they keep 3 running backs, and you have to keep 3 running backs, just for the reasons that you state. I think they're holding out that Q is going to sign at any moment, but Cam Akers was cut by the Saints. There's a good veteran right there. And then why did they keep 4 tight ends? Now, you were talking about who they can slip by in waivers. A lot of times it's, let's keep this guy. Then once the initial 53-man roster is formulated, then let's put this guy, and this guy on IR. And then they'll be gone for 4 to 6 weeks. Then we'll open spots that we can bring another guy in, shift another guy in that they've been looking at. There's no justification to have 4 tight ends and 2 running backs. None. But I thoroughly thought that Armani had made that spot as far as running backs. I think Pierre Strong is a hit or miss, kind of a roller coaster guy. But I'm not satisfied with our running back at all. We don't have that home run hitter. We don't have that Chubb, that Emmitt Smith, that Eric Dickerson type of player. We got Jerome Ford. That's what we're banking on to rekindle this running game. And look at the offensive line. The offensive line is the same guys that just 2 years ago was ranked the number 3 ranked offensive line in the league. We take Jed Wills out. We put DeJuan Jones in. That's an upgrade. It's the same 5 guys. So we got the line. We got a veteran quarterback. We've got good receivers, good tight ends. And then you're going to have Jerome Ford as your bell cow. I just don't get it.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second, Barry? What do you guys think about them putting one of those tight ends in as a halfback at times? Is that's
fullback? A fullback?
Fullback.
What's Aiden Huntington going to do?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You got it. Aiden Huntington. That dude's going to play 5 positions.
He plays 3 ways.
And he's going to probably
plays all 3 ways.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out, Travis Hunter. We got a player that plays all 3 ways.
And he's an undrafted guy.
Well, I'll
tell
you something. I'll tell you something on that front. I interviewed Harold Fannin at the Senior Bowl, and in doing so, I did some research. He was an option quarterback in high school. He's an Ohio kid, so he is a runner, and that was part of it. His yak yards are off the charts for all those receiving yards he had, but he is a runner. He's also a very good blocker. He's an exceptional blocker.
We've talked about it on the show. Because he runs so like toe out, I think that the defense can't tell which way he's going, and he's just like, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I think that's his
But
biggest.
I'd love
his
to
biggest
see-
knock
I'd love
turned
to
out
see
to be
them
like
hand-
a secret like plus. It's a superpower.
Yeah, I'd love to see them hand it to Huntington and see what he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like you
On the
said,
goal line.
we all kind of went, why are we keeping 4 tight ends? Well, that fourth guy might be odd man out to bring in a running back or another
Or just
veteran
like we talked
quarterback.
about.
You hit the nail on the head, Chad, with that.
Yeah, and if they cut him later, these teams have established 53-man rosters. Now maybe they can more easily sneak him to the practice squad. But the other thing is, Barry, you just made a really good point that I had brought up earlier, but I'd almost forgotten about. Yeah, they could take somebody like Whitehurst, who got hurt in that game, keep him on the 53, put him on IR tomorrow, and then now they've got an open spot to sign Quinshaw Judkins, and they don't have to cut anybody. So there are and Andrew Barry is very open about. He did an interview during the game. He's very open about they have set up certain roster rules that allows me to manipulate with the new practice squad rules, and I'm gonna find every way to do it. I mean, he's very open about it. Like from COVID, they've changed the practice squad rules, the veteran rules, the ability to bring people up, all that stuff, the ability to designate 3 people to return from IR. That those things allow him to do this shifty stuff right at the end.
Yeah, because invariably, we got the second waiver spot, just like we had the second draft spot. We're going to sign 6, 7, 8 guys. That means 6, 7, or 8 guys on this roster are gone. Well, if you can put 3 or 4 of them on IR, gone. They're just shifted over here to another 3 guys off of this roster. That happens every time of year, every team.
Yeah. I mean, this is stuff I do for my stupid dynasty football team. If I'm doing it for make-believe football in a $100 league, Andrew Barry is doing it real deep.
Every day.
Listen, why you said that your stupid dynasty league and you won't join our stupid fantasy team?
He's no longer a fantasy guy. He's a dynasty guy. He made that known. Dynasty Rich is on.
He said
give
that.
us your.
I think Chad said that with his pinky out. I'm a dynasty guy now.
What is your Barry? Real quick, what is your take on the receivers?
My God.
They have 6: Judy, Tillman, Thrash, Carter, Bond, and Larvidan. Sorry. Is that who you would want, or is somebody there that you're like, interesting?
Yeah, I thought Caden Davis would end up on this list. That's the only thing. What happened was Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond is just like Shadur Sanders. Is he going to be great? Well, you don't want to have him and cut him and then him be a superstar on another roster somewhere. So they don't really know. I mean, you look at Isaiah's college numbers, they're not sensational. He never was first team all conference, second team, honorable mention, All-American. He was none of those. So he's not a ringer that we're bringing in at the last minute. He's just a fast guy. He's an Olympic guy. Well, so was Anthony Schwartz. He's just a really fast guy. But I really thought that Caden Davis would be on that list. Larvidan, he's got return abilities. I think the only reason DeAndre Carter's on here is so we got somebody that can return kicks. Jerome Ford's a good kickoff return man. But now that he's running back, you can't have him do both.
That's what confused me as to Carter. I thought they would try to be more versatile in that area. They would have Gage do that, and then do Ford do the other returns. That gives you another roster spot. So to have Carter announce, that's why when they announced that Carter was cut, I thought, okay, they're going to keep Johnson. Gage is going to Gage and Ford is going to do the kick returns and punt returns. But obviously the report came back saying they're keeping Carter.
All the writers at Dawgs By Nature, we do a 50 prediction. I didn't have Carter on there. I had Caden Davis instead. But that's just the way it is. But I had 3 running backs. I had 4 quarterbacks. I had Tyler Huntley. Sam said earlier about us having a veteran present. But I think Huntley is a guy that just kind of lingered out there. Nobody signed him. So we think he's going to be available after it's over with. We'll put him on a practice squad. We'll protect him, one of our 4 protection. But the thing about practice squad, you can only bring them up 3 games. And then after the 3rd game, you have to put them on the 53-man roster. But by then, you've got players anyway. So there will be roster spots as the season goes along, especially against the offensive line. We saved 10 offensive linemen. We're going to use 30 before the season. We're going to find two teachers and say, hey, come on down and block for us. And that happens every year.
Another big thing to look forward to is bye week is the end of trading deadline. A lot could happen between now and then.
Yeah. Let's move on real quick to the defense. Defensive line. They carry 10. Anyone shocker there for you? I feel like it's what I would have put on paper, at least if we did our 53. Yeah, Garrett, Collins, Harris, Graham, Hall, McGuire, Wright, Troy Onshore, Sarinka, Thomas, Huntington.
Yeah, there's a loophole on the defensive lineman. It's Aiden Huntington. He's the loophole, and I tell you why. So he can play on the edge and he can play in the middle. He's only like 281, so he's kind of undersized.
Yeah.
Okay. If they had listed him as a defensive end, which they keep 6, then that would have left an opening on defensive tackle because Mike Hall is going to be on the PUP list for about 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. So that would have left an opening because you would have had 3 guys and then an extra opening, but they listed him as a defensive tackle, and then that bumped everybody else out. Everybody like Holly and not Shelby Harris. That totally bumped Ralph Hawley out, which, by the way, talked to his camp. The Browns have told Ralph Hawley to stay in town till Wednesday, which to me sounds like they're going to see if he'll clear waivers, put him on the practice squad. He also told me that the Toronto Argonauts are already calling him and offering him a contract. But that,
I want him to stay here.
If he listed as a defensive end, that would have left an opening for defensive tackle, and I thought he would have made that the roster there.
Yeah.
I want to say one really quick thing about Ralph Hawley. Genuine guy. We've obviously had him on a show. We had him at our draft party. Great family. The kid has plenty of aspiration to be in this NFL program, and I think I'm not saying just because he's a nice guy to put him on a team, but honestly, I think he's got some learning curves to coming out of the CFL into the NFL is a bit of a difference, especially on the defensive line, because we talked about it before, how they line up a yard before the ball or after the ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Barry, by the way, Mike Hall Jr. passed his physical, so he will not be on the PUP list. He is on the roster.
Oh, right on. Well, then
as long as Deshaun Watson doesn't pass that, we'll be all right.
Yeah, Deshaun's on the PUP. He'll probably be there for a little bit.
That's good. That's breaking news. I didn't know that, and I'm excited.
You didn't know that? Okay, yeah. He passed his physical. He's on the roster, so he's trending to play week 1. So that our defensive line is going to be, is going to be.
And what I like about that is because he hasn't been here, but he was here last year. He knows the plays. He knows the playbook. I'm assuming he's been keeping in shape. My one caveat, because he's rotational, so I wouldn't expect them to just throw him out there, but so they can kind of ease him in. But they drafted him for a very specific reason, and it's
get the quarterback,
get through the line and find the quarterback, and collapse that pocket. And that's something I don't think you necessarily need to make it to every practice to do, fortunately, because most positions you can't just play.
And what's cool about depth here is like they can slowly, gradually work them in too. They don't need to say, we need you to play and then add further insult to if there's anything still working on with that injury. So with the depth there, they can slowly work him in until by the end of the season, he could probably be going at 100%. So, and him and Graham next to each other. Oh, I cannot wait to watch them play together. It's going to be sick. How about the linebackers, Barry? You got Carson, Baker, Bush, Diabate, and the guy that surprised me, Mascarenas Arnold. I think I said that right. I Googled it, so I think it's right.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian name.
Yeah.
I had him on my final 53. Here's the thing. We're going to have 3 new starters on linebacker. Has that ever happened in the history of the NFL? 3 new starters. All the Sam, the Will, all of them are going to be brand new starters from week last year. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, I guess with Bush and Diabate being here, they weren't the guys who trotted out day 1, though.
Good point. Yeah.
And happy for Jerome Baker that he got put on this list. Grew up a Browns fan, lifelong Browns fan. I think that's great. I think you're going to see Schlesinger probably in the middle. I would guess that Bush and Abete would be on the outside, and that's going to be your linebacker core. Now, I know that Donovan McMillan can play
Donovan
linebacker.
McMillan's a beast. Yes.
Yeah,
I was going
he
to bring
has
him up.
played linebacker, so you could add that as a 6 linebacker. I was surprised they only kept 5 linebackers instead of 6. Traditionally, they have kept 6, but they kept an extra safety. They kept an extra tight end, and that's just the way it was. As far as the defensive tackles, Jim Schwartz wrote 4 guys all game at defensive tackle, but he keeps his ends as starters and he plays them 80%. But at defensive tackle, a guy, yeah, you can start, but you're still going to play 49% of the game. So that's not an issue, right? But 3 brand new guys at linebacker, that's kind of scary.
I think Carson's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait. Let's move on to corners.
Can I ask
Go
real
ahead.
quick, Barry?
Yep.
We talked before the draft, and I think, I mean, I'll just make it real easy. Carson looks incredible. He wasn't on my radar before the draft because that's still when I was hoping we would see JOK back, and I just didn't imagine them having him and using a second on a linebacker again that early. Was that somebody that you were pretty prepared for? Because, man, this kid came out. I think there was a lot of shock at the pick, and I think there's not a Browns fan around who's like, I'm surprised at all by that pick now. Like, he just has shown everything in preseason interviews, game time, and everybody's like, oh, obviously that's the 33rd pick. He probably should have went in the first round. So were you on to him before the draft?
No, not well in the second round, yes, but not for the Browns. When the Browns had the first pick in the second round, and then they had another pick later, I was thinking receiver. There was the safety from South Carolina. I was thinking offensive tackle. I was thinking one of those 3, and an article about which offensive tackle, which safety, which wide receiver, the one from Missouri. These are the guys that we could take. And Schlesinger came up and to go and research him. 90 solo tackles 1 year. He had like a 50-something total tackles, but 90 solo. If you tackles in a year as a player, I played middle linebacker in high school. If you had 90 tackles in 1 year, dude, you celebrate, but 90 solo tackles, and he's the real deal. He's already shown that. And the thing about it is Schwartz wants his linebackers to stop the run. If his front 4 are the pass rush, he doesn't send linebackers. He doesn't send safeties on.
And it just happened.
We made it so far.
Until he comes back, what I want to say is obviously, you're back, Barry. Sorry, Schlesinger is a big, huge asset to this team right now because of JOK. Obviously, you're putting him at middle linebacker.
I think he's the biggest linebacker on the roster size.
Right, you're putting him at middle linebacker. By the way, my jersey will be here next week. Yes, I think this kid is going to be great. They gave him the dot, so this kid's going to have so much on his shoulders. But not only that, the kid is in every single play. You watch a defense play on TV or at the game, he's there. He is in every single play. He's not on the other side of the field. That guy follows the ball, and that's what you're supposed to do as a middle linebacker. And I think this kid is a great asset to this team. And I cannot wait to see what he does against the Bengals.
And he didn't
like
go
Clay, like a Clay
up.
Matthews 4.0. You know what I'm saying? We're getting that.
Yeah.
He
Or
is, like
Joe-
you said, he's all over the place. He's nasty
Joe
to watch,
Schubert.
man.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't go off on play. So it's not like in third down, you got to take him off and bring somebody else in. He just stays on the field. He's sideline to sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be
Barry,
something to watch.
Barry,
Let's,
before we let you go, because I gave you an extra 20 minutes because we love you that much, is there
respect.
anything you want to add before we let you go?
I had on my list that Dustin Hopkins was going to get cut.
And he did.
Andre Schmidt, you pronounce his name Schmidt.
Yep.
He made every kick in preseason. He had a great camp. He's the former award winner in 2023. Browns are only his second team. I think with Dustin Hopkins, the problem was that in Funk last year, he was the 29th rated kicker. That carried over into preseason when you're missing point after attempts, and everybody looks at each other like, man, we're going to lose this game by 1 point, and that happens. You got to make the kicks that are there. And I think you're just kind of going to roll the dice and say, well, he's had a good camp. He's had a good preseason. Let's go with the young guy. And look how much money Hopkins was making. I think he was the third highest paid kicker in the league.
2.5.
And he made 67% of his field goals last year. So there's savings, but I think it's production on the field that did Hopkins in.
Yeah, I think they learned a lesson I think I was talking to you earlier, Barry, before everybody else hopped on, never to pay a kicker that much money. They came off his best season ever and never draft a kicker. They learned that all within a couple of years. So hopefully Barry can learn from that. Learn from his 2 kicking mistakes.
Watching that last preseason game when Snoop Huntley got them to get down there and get Smits in there, and they chose him to kick the ball. That already told me something. Hopkins got to be gone. It got to be gone.
Good point.
So,
and they chose Tyler Huntley to drive the team down there and took Shedeur out. They took Hopkins out and put Schmidt in the kick. That was proving that those two guys in clutch.
Yeah.
Our chat is going crazy with Schmidt happens.
you'll have that. Hey, let's. I don't care what it does, but let's just get them extra points in there, like, because we have lost games with extra points, man. We cannot do that. We just cannot do that. And he missed 2 of them. I was losing my mind. I was like, I couldn't believe I was getting this pissed on a preseason game.
Yeah.
All right, Barry.
Well, he had a spurt last year where he had 3 of them. So, hey, let me give you an idiom before we go.
Yes, that's
absolutely.
Let's go ahead. Wait. Let me set this up real quick. For those that are just new to the show.
NFL Cutdown Day is the day. And so what happens is the Turk makes a visit. Well, where did the word Turk come from? Turk means that it's a guy that comes around and takes players off. Well, it used to be that NFL teams, they trained at a college, and there'd be 2 guys in a dorm room and no students there. So they'd have the use of the college, the practice fields. They'd have classrooms for meetings. And so what would happen is at night, an assistant coach would come by and the hallway would be lit. Guys would be in their room by 10 o'clock, lights out at 11, go in your room at 10 o'clock, start studying, and a assistant coach would come by. If you saw his shadow underneath the door and he passed by, then you were good for that cut. They would go from 90 to 75, then 75 to 65, and from 65 to 53, to each week, well, the turn would come. And because it was at night, the stigma was that this cool person would come by, snatch up bodies, haul them off, and nobody'd ever see them again. When in reality, what NFL teams wanted, they didn't want you to see your other teammates leaving. So they would do this at night. And if the assistant coach, if you were going to be cut, they knock on your door, they'd open the door, the assistant coach would say, so-and-so, coach wants to see you, bring your playbook. And he was cut. Well, how the term the Turk got started was in 1949. A linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams named Don Paul. He was liked historical stuff, like medieval stuff. He said the Turk always struck at night. Well, where this came from was the Turkish army in the 12th century through the 16th century. They made all of their raids after dark.
That makes me want to Schmidt myself.
Thank
I
you for
like that.
those. Yeah.
That's
For
really
those
something
that are-
really cool, Barry. I like to hear that. It's
That
almost
is a cool
when,
story.
when I was listening to you talk about that in my mind, because it's just me listening. I'm like the Grim Reaper's coming down the hallway almost. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of
Yep.
how it was, man. That's kind of what that when you were saying that, that's what I was picturing in my head. I'm like, the Turk Reaper's coming through to see who's here, who's not here. So that's pretty interesting. I like that. Thank you.
Barry, thank
Hey
you
guys,
so much.
I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with y'all.
We'll do it again. You know this. You're
yeah,
on
Barry
like,
is a 5th member of the show. So
yeah, Barry's
he
got like
comes
a
in.
permanent link. He doesn't even
Yeah.
have to ask to
I've
join
got
the
my
show
growth
anymore.
going now.
It's looking good, bro. I like it. It's looking good there, Barry. I like
If
it.
you guys go back to a show like a year ago, Barry came on with an
With
actual
a
like
fake beard.
fake beard, just like
It was
him.
good.
It was amazing.
Who said that?
But, oh yeah, it wasn't fake. He shaved it off the next week. That's right, because
Yeah.
he didn't miss that much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time with you. Next time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank
Hey,
you,
if you
Barry.
guys want to, make sure to check out Dawgs By Nature. That they all write great stories there
Yes.
about our beloved Cleveland Browns. Check them out. Everything's free there too. So I mean, go get your
they've been
Browns
running
news.
that game for a pretty long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, for those
True.
that isms Barry shares with us every time he's on the show. So for those that are new, that's normal. So continue to, whenever Barry's on, just hop on in just to hear the ism, and then you'll be that much smarter when he leaves. That's why.
man.
That's why I say we're better when he leaves than when he came, because better when he came because we get smarter.
Hey, he always leaves a tidbit of information, man,
Yeah.
of certain
Always.
things. Which is awesome.
If you guys can continue to like, comment, and share this feed wherever you're at. Thank you for following. Hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate it. We hit 500 this past weekend on YouTube, so shout out to everybody viewing on there. Let's continue. We're in the safeties now. Corners. Sorry, corners. Ward, Newsome, Mitchell, Harden, and Jones. You guys like those? Like those 5? A little worried about Mitchell, if I'll be honest with you.
And you got to take what you got.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this case, there's, like we said, there's going to be roster changes still. It's nothing that's going to be. It's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately for us. But
Yeah,
there are certain positions that need filled, and I'm sorry, Chad. And they will be. Go ahead, Chad. Sorry.
I just said literally they might be filled overnight. Like this is the time to do it. You got waivers on Wednesday, and then they might call a free agent. Like if they fill these spots, they might be in the next 48 hours. So close to overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Turk might be coming through tonight for some of these guys.
Yeah. I think
Tuesday.
I think the safety room is sticking the way it is. At least that's what I would guess.
Yeah,
They have their veterans, they have their young guys. They like to have mixed rooms, and they do in almost every area. The corners is the one I mentioned it earlier in the show with Barry. The corners is where I know there are multiple guys out there that have kind of floated around Twitter as available. The guy that most hit my eye was Mike Hilton, because he's specifically a slot nickel corner, and he's played in the AFC North, and that's the kind of football he can play. I believe it was the Dolphins that were where he last was that cut him, and now that he's available, I can see that connection. But there are others out there who people have talked about that I think are corners that could fit this team.
Yeah. In the special teams, it's what it is. Smith, Bacourt, my goodness, Bacourt, him.
Bajorquez.
And but yeah,
Bajorquez.
my gosh,
Corey
why can't I
Bajorquez.
know? Corey Bajorquez. And Sunra, he's a long snapper now, right?
Max
Yeah.
Sunahara.
New one.
Yeah, he's a new one. This
He
team
was here last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they got rid of the other guy that we had interviewed. Yeah, good. I be interesting to see what they do with that second waiver pick, if they get a running back or not, or a corner, somebody that can play
Current
nickel.
top rumors. The
Yeah.
current top rumors are, as I mentioned earlier, Audric Estime as a kind of bell cow style running back. He just got crowded out of a room that has too many running back options. And then I believe I'm not a huge fan of Cam Akers at this point in his career, but
Yeah.
he had mentioned Cam Akers as a guy that can come on and take that role. I think Cam Cam is a younger guy, but I think he might be past his waivers window. Estime is not yet.
Yeah, he's I hope they get him. I think you can add some talent to that if they can get that running back in here, especially not knowing what's going on with Q, man. That kind of
James says get Beanie Bishop, make the Steelers fans pissed off.
That would be good. That would be an option too with that second waiver wire, because they need Mitchell does scare me a little bit. He's been inconsistent this past preseason, but hopefully they can work that out.
I think
hold on,
really quick. The Quinchon thing. I think what he's doing is what all the other number 2 picks did. They were wanting that guaranteed money. I think there's problems going around with that contract because of what he wants and what he's expecting he wants. I think there's some things going on there. So, and my big thing is, dude, there was something that happened. There was an incident. The team stuck behind you. They didn't just get rid of you. You know what? We don't need none of this right now. So I hate to say it, but if that's what's going on, you should be thankful that they hung on to you and that they're still willing to work with you. You know, if you're trying to get this guaranteed money, it might not just be that way right now. The NFL's still looking at you. You still have an investigation that has to take place. So you should be thankful that the Browns were sticking with you through these events, so I'm hoping he gets signed. I'm really pulling for it, but that's just me thinking, you had a lot going on. They stuck by you, man. Just, they're trying to set a high ceiling on his contract. I think that's what he's wanting to do, which everybody wants to get paid, but
yeah. No, I still think some of it too, you hit it a little bit, but I still think some of it is.
Yeah, but he wants that big high rookie contract with guaranteed money, like all them other guys were getting. They all wanted it. Hey, I got to get it. He wants the same dough. I get it.
He'll probably get it, but I think the Browns might just be waiting to say, let's see if this NFL investigation ends this week. And if it does, and they say you're not suspended, sure, you can have it. If they're going to suspend you 6 games, you're not getting it. It's not going to happen. So that's where I think it's probably coming from both sides. He's like, well, sign me up to this. And the Browns are like, NFL, are you going to tell us eventually if this kid's getting suspended or not? Because if he is, we're not doing this thing again where we pay suspended players to be here the whole time. And we got to find a new way to work that out. So
the biggest bummer of it all is the kid shows a ton of potential to be able to come here and dominate in the AFC North. The downfall at the end of the day is you haven't been to camp, which you could have been to. You haven't done anything with this team that you could have done. You showed zero responsibility of coming to practices that you could have been at. And
they told him not to come to practice until this was over.
Yeah, that's
I know,
why.
but
so that's not on him. If they're like, you have to do the legal stuff first, I think they didn't want him there because they didn't want another that distraction again.
Yeah,
but that was stupid on the Browns' behalf, dude. If you're able and you really are innocent, come to practice, bond with your teammates, figure out what you have to do. I'm not going to say that he was the oddball that showed himself out the door pretty much, but you have the opportunity to still come and play with your teammates.
Yeah, but not if the Browns won't give him his contract yet. He can't just come if he's not signed. He has to sign first. That's where it's a problem. You're not allowed to be there if you're not
if you don't have a contract.
And they're not. I think they told him, because there was initial reports that they said they told him not to be there until he finished his legal stuff. And I think some of that comes with they're not going to give him that contract until they find out if he's getting suspended.
It's stupid. Forgery is a real thing. Let's just forgery that thing.
Let's just forge his signature.
Forgery is a real
thing.
Hey, bro, you need to be here next week.
I really think that's what it comes down to. I wish that wasn't the case, but the NFL is taking their dang time with this, just like they did with Watson. They waited until the season's right about to start, and he was there practicing to be 5 games, 3 games, 11. They just make up the rules as they go.
Yeah,
he got all his charges dropped. I know that doesn't mean somebody's necessarily innocent, but the reality is it's a bad precedent if you start saying the evidence showed that we're not going to have a case. There's no civil cases. There's nothing, no lawsuits, and the NFL's still sitting on it. So make your choice, get this done, so the Browns can actually finalize his contract and get him in the door, because it was a big waste of time. He could have been there practicing if he had signed, but I think the Browns probably were gonna be in the line of giving him. He was not only did every second rounder end up winning this battle and getting their guarantees, he was like the 4th second rounder taken. So he was definitely gonna get it
his money.
also. Yeah, he was gonna get it. It's just that, the holdup is, are you gonna miss the first 6 games of the season? And this is before they even knew the charges. Was he gonna miss the whole season? Was he gonna be guilty? Like, now we know he's not gonna be charged at all. So it changed. But I do think that's the big holdup, is the Browns were like, we can't sign you if we don't do a guaranteed contract, if we don't know if the NFL is going to let you play.
And then there's a potential of him going back to college.
It's like
dude,
that's
I don't believe
that's
that.
that's that. Was it Schumer? That guy from just
Mike Florio. He hates Cleveland. He said the same thing. He actually suggested, I believe, that Sanders do that after the draft.
Yeah,
like, you should just go back to college because the Browns took you in the 5th.
Yeah,
and it was like,
yeah,
okay.
He's not going back to college. Like, if the Browns said, you know what, when he was going through all this problems, and they could have, they said, you know what,
we'll be right back, John.
We're not even going to deal with it. We don't need to deal with it. We're going to go ahead and just send you on down the road. He'd have been scooped up in a heartbeat by another team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can go back to college if you declare for the NFL. Yeah,
I think the goal is he would probably have to sue the NCAA to do it. He would have to set a precedent and sue.
So you'll probably set a whole year just to go back to college and come back to the NFL, which the Browns will probably draft you again anyways when you come back out, because they'll be in that draft. So you're doing this all over again. Just sign the contract.
Like Groundhog Day. It's like Groundhog Day.
Let's get into some preseason game. Even though we did play a preseason game. That doesn't take precedent because of the 53-man roster talk is more important. But we're going to talk about the preseason game 3 versus the Rams, which we won 19-17 last-minute field goal, which was politely pointed out by Sam. Some notes, some trending topics of the game that we're going to talk about here a little bit is presented by Cleveland Ketchup. Go to clevelandketchup.com, use the code BEARDED, and get 10% off of all your order. I try their ketchup, and their jalapeno mustard is amazing, by the way. It'll give you a little heartburn if you eat a lot of it. Don't do what I did, because it's so good. You can eat a lot of it. If you're about 43 like me, you're going to get some acid reflux. But just have enough. It's good on your burger. It adds a little subtle flavor to it. So check them out at clevelandketchup.com. First, Dillon Gabriel cements himself as the number 2 quarterback this game. His struggles from last week's game were corrected, guys. What was your thoughts on Dillon's game?
Clean.
You know what? I'm gonna let you guys do this. I'm gonna tell you why. So I was at the game, okay? I was at the Nats tailgating, which is awesome. The best $40 I've ever spent in my entire life. All you could eat and drink, great food, great people, good time, right? Went into the game with club seats, great seats. Thank you guys. Awesome seats. And then we got invited to a loge. That was all eat and drink. And man, I don't remember. So you guys had fun.
Sam, go. Chad, go ahead. You're starting.
Yeah. So, I don't want to overrate it. I'm not the type to be like, preseason shows you everything. But I think that the 2 biggest things I took from it is, one, he did the exact types of things that looked like exactly what we were expecting from him. Quick passing game, quick decisions, moving the offense with kind of precision. I've said all along, I'm not super concerned about him taking deep shots, because I've seen it in college live and on in games on TV. Like, he'll take shots when they're there. But I think the important thing for him is can he just go out there and dish the ball in kind of a quick slicing offense? And he did that. And so the first thing is like, okay, he does fit the part of what they were actually wanting. And then the second thing is, I mentioned specifically, you had said, read out the struggles from last week were corrected. I wanted to see, does every handoff look clean? Because, of course, they must have drilled in on that after that fumble last week. And then the only big mistake he made last week was on that pick 6. And I said, I put a little more onus on the receivers. One of them has been cut from the team at this point because of those type of plays in preseason, because it doesn't have he didn't have the focus. He just wasn't doing the things he's capable of. But a lot of people gave him a lot of flack for that. And I said, in the end, yeah, will he learn from that next time not to make that play? Probably will. Will the hope be that he can look at that film and just say, like, if it's ever questionable, I'm just not going to make the play. And I think that's what we saw in this game. He made quick plays when there were questions or when there wasn't somebody clearly to go to. He got rid of it, and he's not afraid to make a tight window throw. So he only got rid of it when it was looking like I'm either getting chased and I can't get away, or like this is a risky pick play. And so for me, I was just happy to see that much evolution in just a week against, another team's like early players. I think the Eagles are better, even depth-wise on the defense, but he's making these plays against tight coverage, and it didn't look like the defense was just lost and guys were wide open. Play after play.
I want to add something to this. Sam did call me Friday night and was like, dude, Flacco's starting. Why are we doing this? Why are we starting Flacco?
Because it's Cleveland, bro. and we are injury prone. I'm like, why are we even wasting our time? We already know what he's going to do and what Flacco's about. Because we've seen it. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. These guys go down. All right. Oh, Flacco's durable. Let's see. Everybody's going to have to see him have a few snaps in this. No, you didn't. I called Mike. I'm like, this is dumb. I said, if something happens to this guy in this preseason game, I'm going to lose my shit. Because I don't think we didn't need to have him in there. We already know what he's going to do. We already know what he's capable of. We already know where his ceiling's at.
Yeah.
So we didn't need that. That's why I called Mike. I was kind of tripping. I'm like, I just kind of was sitting on the couch thinking, man, like, why are we doing this, man? I said,
yeah,
we don't need to do that. So
I did tell him straight up. I'm like, I want to see the guy out there. It's good to get him out there, get his feet wet, and let us know what he's capable of doing still. You know what? This guy, since he left the Ravens in 2018, has played 17 games, won 7 games, 5 of those with the Cleveland Browns. I want to know what this guy is still capable of doing. If you're going to call yourself an NFL quarterback, you at the end of the day have to be able to show us what you're capable of doing. And I'm glad we put him out there.
The question would be if he didn't have a great series, though, what were they going to do? They're not going to cut him now.
Yeah,
they're definitely not going to cut him, obviously, because he's the only.
So then, like, what are they? Who's he showing what to? Like the coaches are like, okay,
I feel like they already named him the starter. I feel like they threw Flacco in there just to keep the Browns fans copacetic. Like, all right, they all love him. It's Flacco fever. Let's give him a little bit. But I just didn't want the guy. Something happened. I mean, stranger things have happened here, man. I mean, we had a lot of guys go down in that game. Our center went down. What's his status? I didn't look at that. He went out. Blake Whiteheart went out. I'm like, here we go.
Blake Whiteheart's fine. Center's still out.
Went out too.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Pierre Strong went out. I mean, he's cut now, but
it will always be a debate. Like, what's more important, getting your starters like 1 or 2 series together just so they can get a little coordinated, or making sure they're definitely healthy? And I feel like for the coaching staff, there's no win, because most years they don't play the starter, and every year the fans go ballistic when we come out struggling at the beginning of the season. Like, why didn't you play him at least just a series or 2? Like, I think I read 24 or 27 teams played their starting quarterback this preseason, and most of the ones that didn't, their starting quarterback has like some kind of injury that they're nursing. So I get it, but at the same time, like, I guess the worry is like, oops, he got hurt. I guess we just go straight to Kenny Pickett then, and he's the one that gets cut or traded. Like, I don't know.
Here, listen, you guys want a realistic answer to this? Is you guys remember when we had Stump Mitchell on?
Yeah.
What does Stump Mitchell say about the playoff game? They gave them guys a week rest. Look what happened.
Yeah. Like I said, it'll always be a debate. Like, when somebody gets hurt, you'll be like, why was he out there? If somebody doesn't go out there and they come out and they don't
Rusty,
look great the first game
and he's
of the
like, why
season,
didn't you play in the preseason?
Why didn't you just get him out there
It's a
for 1 or 2
lose-lose,
series?
Yeah.
I'm with Sam. I mostly prefer, like, I'll never want to see Joel Bitonio out there. He doesn't have to play for me. Miles Garrett, never.
We went through 5 quarterbacks in a season. Yeah. We don't need to go through a starting, potentially hurting your starting quarterback in a preseason game. That's just
I'm okay starting rookie starters or young starters. I think the veteran starters, like, you're past it. They just
right. Right.
Yeah,
We
I
know-
agree. I think that I think starting Flacco is a good thing. I think he needed some reps. I think he felt like he needed reps. I think he communicated that he needed reps. He didn't get enough
Did
reps
ask.
he didn't get enough reps during training camp and because you were doing the 4 quarterback thing. So he did ask to get some reps. Thankfully, he came out healthy. My Dylan Gabriel point is this. I thought he did very well. And something that's not being talked about enough. Sean McVay kind of runs the same offense as Kevin. So that defense kind of knows the scheme a little bit. So they
Fair.
kind of schemed a little bit for him. It's not extreme scheme where they're like pinpointing certain
They're
things.
familiar though. You're right.
They're familiar with certain movements. So this defense was kind of ready for whatever Kevin put out there, even if it was bland or basic. So, and he perfected it well. So he did a lot of check. He went through his progressions well. You have to see that as a young guy. He hit a couple windows low. He threw the ball low and away to, was it Thrash? He dropped it, but
it was Thrash.
he pinpointed where to throw the
Shot,
ball.
though.
Yeah, it was a good throw. So I was looking for targets. Like, where was he targeting at? And by the way, his adjusted target completion rate percentage was 80%. That means even if it's batted or the dropped, it still counts in this percentage. So he was 80% as far as his completion percentage against last week. So he looks good. I agree with Chad. I'm not going to get too excited, but to see the progression from he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback to, hey, he kind of struggled a little bit, but there's some good signs to, hey, he's even better than we had thought is a great thing to see for a guy that they by the way, they scoped him. They said, that's our guy. So as a Browns fan, I'm saying, especially with this draft and undrafted free agents, they pinpointed talent and they seem to hit on every single one they wanted. And that is encouraging for as a Browns fan. You can look at Barry and say, this dude's turned the corner this year. He learned from his mistakes and he pinpointed some things that they needed and even got more than enough this year. So hopefully he can set him up for the future. But I thought Dylan did good for what it was given to him. And I hope to see progression. I do like, and I think they kind of held back to Chad's point. They held back the deep shots because they don't want to show you a whole playbook. They want to show you what you can do. They want to surprise you a little bit. So I think
would worry
he did
me
well.
if I didn't think he could do it because there have been quarterbacks on this team that I think either they can't make that throw or they won't make the throw because they're afraid to take the shot. And I don't have any reason yet to believe he's either. And I've said that in the past. But you're right. Like, I'm not surprised they didn't take shots in the preseason game. Some teams did. Like, Dart went down the field. I saw Cam a few times went down the field. But I do think their offense are like, they're coming in as starters. They just want them to do everything.
Dart's been looking real good.
I think his average throw was 7.9 yards, about 8 yards a throw for Dylan this preseason. So I thought that's
placing around.
Yeah.
I will say this too, though. I think I shared this on X. I think I might have sent to you guys. CBS rated every rookie quarterback performance in the preseason, and Dylan Gabriel got second with that Game 3 performance. And so I thought that was worth noting that it's not just us just watching that game. It's guys who watched each rookie play their games and kind of looked at it as like who stood out in which games. And they said, and Dylan Gabriel for his Game 3 was the third best or the second best preseason performance by a rookie. Sanders
throughout
was also
the whole
on that list
preseason or
somewhere.
just that week?
They did it by week. They did it week by
right.
week. And so I was just saying for this last game, was the one where Dylan was way up the chart.
So
Yeah,
guys,
he cleaned it up. I got on the Flacco talk and starting him in preseason, but real quick on the Gabriel, I thought he did really well. It was like a comeback for him in my eyes. For him, all right. Last game I had a few issues. Let's go clean that up. Let's show everybody I can work, and he went out and he did that successfully. And I'll just keep it that short. I liked what I saw from him. He picked the pieces up, put the other stuff behind him, and he did well. He did well in that game. So
now it's going to get harder.
It's going to get harder.
Guys, listen,
but
Sorry, go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
What I want to say is don't give up on Shador yet. Obviously, guys, listen.
We
there's a
gave
lot-
up on him. Shut the door. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
No, I don't. I give
He's
up
just
on that
mad
door at
Pickett's
all.
gone. You better calm down, Angel. I'm kidding.
Shador, yeah, I agree. Go ahead. I agree what you're about to say about Shador. Go ahead.
But listen, obviously, guys, Shador, everybody says don't start a rookie. This guy's grown up in rookie, in NFL locker rooms. He grew up with an NFL dad. And I'm not saying that's going to get him on a team and make him be great and do big things. I'm not by any means, okay? But at the end of the day, when you show up to a preseason game and you have a bad game, after all the crap that's been talked about you all week long, about how the NFL is colluded to not even bring you into this league, the Browns still found something that said, hey, we're going to bring this kid in here. We got him in the 5th round. 3 weeks prior to this, he was a first-round draft pick. Out of nowhere, now he's a 5th round. We picked him up. This kid is busting his ass, okay? I'm not vouching for the kid right now. I'm saying this kid shows potential. He does, but he needs to work on multiple things. And I'm glad that he might be the 3rd string quarterback as of right now. I am glad. There are things he needs to work on. That game at home, you think he would have done better than he did. He goes out there with so much stuff on his shoulders, and that's something that him and Dustin Hopkins need to get rid of. Obviously, Dustin Hopkins has off the field problems. I don't want to call it a problem.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to get into Sanders talk now. You bring up a valid point. People should not give up on him. And I don't think I shouldn't say I don't think people are, but I would be foolish to say that. I don't think the organization is. I think
No.
I will say this. I think, and I want to tell us as a podcast, I've been very proud of how we handled Shador, his ups and downs. And I think we've been the most consistent, balanced podcast on here. We have 2 guys that love him. We have 2 guys that are like, let's see what happens. And I think we've hit the nail on the head when it comes to their evaluation of him. Sanders struggled this last game. He had 3 completions, 5 sacks, 2.3 yards per attempt, and minus 27 yards on 11 dropbacks.
That's the problem.
He resorted back to what he was doing in Colorado. Now I'm going to start.
Listen, with a bad offensive line. Okay, I'm going to finish my.
He also had a bad offensive line in Buffalo.
He also had the
Colorado.
same offensive line out there as Dylan Gabriel, at least 3 of the 5 guys. So we got to stop saying it's okay that he made all these mistakes because the offensive line. It's fine to not have success because the offensive line. But what he can't do is say, I know this line is bad. They're coming after me. I'm going to run backwards and then I'm going to out-duel them. That's not ever going to happen again. It will never happen again. That era of his life is over. And so
this is the NFL, man. This ain't
what
college.
I said between
Some guys
Dylan
break
and
behind
what I
you,
said between
game over.
Exactly. What I said between Dylan week to week, and then we'll get back to Angel, is the most impressive thing was he made certain mistakes, and the next week he did not make those mistakes again. Sanders had an incredible first game against the Panthers, and we came back and we said he really only made 1 mistake. He kept running backwards or drifting backwards instead of just stepping up in the pocket or getting rid of the ball. And then he came back and he did the exact same mistake again.
Who else is at the quarterback train?
That's me, bro.
That's somebody.
I hear it that time. But anyways,
listen,
and I'm not even like down on him. I don't think that means that much. All it told me was everything we've been saying and everything we've been speculating based on what we're seeing in camp with him not getting the reps with 11-on-11s, with the stuff that came out of the combine, all that stuff about he's just a little behind on the playbook, reading NFL defense and the whiteboard stuff. That looks true. And I'm sure they're focusing a ton on that. But because of that, he's not getting over this habit of like, if I don't know what's happening if I don't know what's happening fast enough, he drifts backwards. And so he's either got to speed up the processing so it doesn't happen, or he has to say, like, even if I don't know what's happening, I'm only going forward and I'll take the sack, but I'm never losing more than 3 yards.
Yeah.
And that's where he needs to fix. And that's where I'm okay with him just being the project quarterback 3, because I still believe in his upside. I ended at draft time saying he was probably a very late 1st rounder or early 2nd rounder, talent wise. and I know he didn't get drafted there, but that's still where I would guess the talent probably is, somewhere close to there. And so, he's just, you don't want him out there now. I think that game solidified. You probably just don't want him out there now, which is why we're all talking earlier about another veteran.
He needs to develop. I'm down. I love the kid now. I wasn't going into the draft. I was like, no. We got him. I'm like, oh Jesus, what are we doing? Here we go. And you know what? I like him. You know why I like him? It's not anything like you were told. It's not even like all his game. I like how he conducts himself. That's one of the big things.
Not what we were sold. He's not what we were told.
Okay.
We were told this kid's a distraction. He's immature. He's all this stuff. He's none of that, Sam. You're right. He's not
the way
at all.
The way he conducts himself. He's actually went to a few of these high school football games already and hanging out, made an appearance and just, kind of kicking it. I'm like, he's out there to show. He's doing things in the community already. He's been doing that. But he does need more development, and he knows he needs it. You know what I'm saying? He already knows this, and people were like, well, the line that he was out there with, all those guys got cut the next day. Well, so Snoop Huntley had to go out there with that same line, and he had to get down there so we can get a kick. That just tells you a difference between a veteran and a guy that needs some development. He can be great. He's going to be great. He just needs to get that time to get there. He even said that. He said, I don't want my dad down here. I got things I need to do. I got to get to a certain destination. That might take a while. He knows, he's aware of that. So, I mean, my hat's off to him, man. I want to see him succeed. I want to see Dylan succeed. Let's go. I mean, it's just what it is. We got to get these rookies. This is why you take time with these guys. It's just how it goes. That's why we need another veteran. That's why we need another veteran quarterback in this room. I'm telling you, we need it.
You got any other thoughts on that, Angel?
So yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. First thing is, he showed exactly what you had said. He showed what other teams saw, which is what it dropped him to the fifth round. And I'm going to tell you what one thing was: his inability to hold his composure. He was frustrated, and you can tell, and it got in his head. And I was talking to Mike about this earlier, and maybe because he felt pressed because Dylan did very well before him. So he felt like he needed to be perfect coming out. Now, I've been watching some tape because I got we're going to have a guest on next week from Brown's Film Breakdown. And there was guys open. I understand he was playing with the fourth-string quarterback, but there was guys open. But I think fourth-string line. I think he was trying to hit the home run ball instead of going with the safe guy. And I think he needs to understand that sometimes in the NFL, and I'll go back to what he did against Carolina. He thought it was funny when he was running backwards, and he was talking to Miles about it. Miles was looking at him like, I mean, you can laugh, but that's not going to happen here. He told him in less words than that. And that's why if you go back to what Carolina, Barry is next to him. What did Barry say to him? There's some things you need to clean up. And he tried to play it off, laugh it off. He's like, and I was talking to Mike about this. Barry's like, no, listen to me. I'm being serious now. You need to clean some things up. He lost his composure. You can tell how frustrated he was. And because of that, the next question I want to propose to you guys is, would you have kept him in the final drive?
No, I'm glad we did what we did.
I'm going to tell you why.
Really?
I'm going to tell you why I didn't want him to be in there anymore, because I can already tell that he was getting into his own head. And I think he took there's a possibility he would have got hurt. That's my thing.
That's a good point.
That was my biggest thing. He could get hurt. You know what we're going to do? We're going to ease you down. We're going to ease you down, kid. We're going to pull you out. Coach, I want to go in. We're going to ease you out. I'm going to get Huntley in here. I want Huntley to finish the game. I think they were protecting him because he was getting mauled, and he was losing his focus. Mm-hmm. Even with the shitty line he had. Because I'll tell you, even with the shitty line he had, you could still throw the ball away.
Yeah. He was trying to play. I think he was trying to play hero ball. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yep. And I think they were like, he's going to try to gun. He's going to try to do too much. He can possibly get hurt. And I think they protected him by taking him out. That's my opinion.
Here's what I think Kevin Stefanski did to him. Kevin Stefanski is like, here, I'm going to give you our fourth string offensive line. You're going to have to adapt to this quickly. If you want to make big plays on the field, go ahead and go for it. But we're not after that. We're after chunk yards. We're wasting clock. That's what I think Kevin Stefanski's plan is at the end of the day. is to waste clock. Obviously, that's everybody's plan, right? Waste clock.
Get the lead.
Yeah, get the lead and move down the field. Keep your defense fresh. I
Chew-
think that
chew time
Stefanski was
up.
trying to make that bigger play at the end of the day to prove to everybody that he can do that. And whether it be true or not, you don't run backwards in the NFL. I'm sorry, your luck is slim to none as a quarterback running backwards.
Lamar, maybe. Sure.
Yeah,
Maybe.
right,
Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Maybe.
he's
right. That's that big maybe.
yeah. No, yeah.
I think.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Chad.
you guys. For me, you guys covered most of what I was going to say, and I'm actually surprised because. So I guess I'll say I basically agree with Sam. Like I think he was in his own head. I think he was frustrated. Mike just said like he wasn't handling the situation great, and like one more drive where does that really move the needle when you know you're keeping the kid? Like it was clear that they were going to keep him on the roster. Now we don't have a question on that with Pickett gone. So for me, he's coming off an oblique injury that kept him out for a week. He's getting mauled out there. He's clearly starting to get emotional in his own head. We all criticized Kevin Stefanski, including me. One of my biggest criticisms of him the whole tenure was I think he should have stepped in when things were going on with Baker, and he should have been able to say, you need to take a step back. This looked like that moment where he went out and he said, hey, you're all right. Come on over here. We're going to let Tyler come up and clean this up. It's just like a pitcher who you have a one run lead and you just let two guys get on base and you go, you know what? You looks like you're a little frazzled. Let's get out of here. Let's let the closer come in and clean this up for you. It was a rough game. We're going to come back to it next time. And honestly, I don't have much more to add to what you guys said. So the most thing I would say is shame on most of the local and national media podcasts. Because I listened to several yesterday, and every single one of them were like, this was a mistake. They screwed Shador. I don't know what they're thinking with Hundley. Why could he possibly need the last thing? Why this? Why that? You guys just laid out perfectly why Shador may have needed to come out. What we can also lay in is, well, Huntley may have a chance to come back here now that Pickett is traded, and nobody knew that was happening, but maybe the Browns knew there was possibilities. And so now, not that you needed to see that from Huntley, but like it was more about we need to get Shador out here. And I just can't believe that between the national media and the local media, not one of them came up with the two things that you guys just came up with about his frustration, about his injury, about why do you even need to see him for one more drive when he just had 5 really, really bad ones in a row. So I'll let you take it, Angel, but I'm with you. Like, I shame on everybody for not even taking the second to think about how could this maybe be good for this quarterback.
I think the media was getting so they were drinking way too much of the conspiracy Kool-Aid. And I think that
there's definitely some of those medias that was drinking, not locally, but maybe outside. They were drinking that Kool-Aid for sure.
They're just like, oh yeah, man. Next thing you're gonna hear is there was a UFO picked up Sanders over there, and he brought him back down. Now he's gonna know how to throw the football.
They cloned him. They cloned him,
bro.
I posted immediately.
It's getting out of hand, dude. It's getting so out of hand.
I posted immediately, I selfishly wanted to see him in there. I posted like, I'm sad they took him out. I kind of selfishly wanted to see if he had some 2-minute magic, but we'll come back to it because maybe there's reasons. The fact that not one person that at least on the shows I listened to over the last 24 hours took the second to come up with a like actual thought like you guys all just did to say maybe there was some positive to taking him out. Come on, guys. You got thousands of people listening to you, trying to hear your thoughts. Like, at least take a minute to think about it instead of going immediately to this was a Stefanski mistake and they screwed him. Like, that's not what happened.
I was at the stadium, okay, and I heard plenty of "F you, dude, you suck, you're not what you are, your daddy can't save you." And I'm like, this goes back to that Dallas game I was at where you heard DTR chants in the first game of the season.
They were chanting Kenny Pickett. Kenny.
Yeah.
They were so desperate for a different quarterback.
You sound desperate. No, I'm kidding.
I'm all right with Kenny. They got that 5th round pick back. No, I and this goes back to what Sam said about the conspiracy stuff. You can tell they love this kid and they want to protect this kid and they're invested in this kid. So this whole notion that they don't like him, they don't want Sanders to succeed, it's all opposite. It's protecting him. And I don't know if I can't remember if I texted you, Mike, when I saw him getting frustrated. And by the way, he got frustrated too in Carolina. A lot of people ain't pointing that out. McDonald missed a block and he got sacked and he called him out and he took his helmet off and Reese had to tell him put his helmet back on.
Yeah.
So this is
nobody was talking about that. I do remember that.
No one talked about that. I kept it quiet because I was like, no, I've been hating on Shedeur a lot, so let me pull back a little bit because I want to be balanced. I don't want to sound like unfairness. But he and this is what teams see behind the scenes when they ask him a question, and if he comes back with an irrational comment, and which was reported by the Giants, we had him say draw something on the whiteboard, and he made a comment. These are the things that he needs to clean up and mature on, and he has time. They have 3 years. They have his contract for 2-3 years. They have 3 years to be patient with him. There's no sense of rushing him out there unless there's an injury. And they love the kid. Let's stop with these conspiracy theories. It's ridiculous.
You didn't know it because people treated it like he was game ready, and it's very clear he's not. Even if he got some team reps with 11-on-11, like that was not going to change like what we've been seeing. Like enormously. People also keep forgetting. Well, he's playing with the third string offensive line. Yeah, he's playing against the third string defensive line and the third string cornerbacks and third string linebacker.
And again, there are people.
ETR did the same thing, and he looked fantastic. It's just some people are preseason quarterbacks. He looked great in Carolina, but I'm totally with you. I think Angel, you have to almost like bite your tongue a little bit because so many people jump down your throat if you're critical of him, and so that's a shame. But at the same time, I guess we have to just keep honest with that's where he is right now.
Yeah, that's where he is, and he's going to mature. He's young. He's 24 years old. So,
and if he doesn't, he'll be gone. I mean, he'll mature or he won't.
Yeah.
Anybody have any closing comments before we end this awesome, amazing live?
One last thing, Aiden Huntington was named on the 53 Hutchinson. Sorry, it was made on the 53-man roster right after the game. That was like just to make it clear.
You just don't see it.
He's going to be on the team. I
only put it in there because I was like, you just don't see that. Like he literally came to the press conference. He's like, just so you know, Aiden made the team. AB said it's okay to tell you. Like an undrafted free agent, the 10 minutes after the third preseason game, like what a freaking player. We don't have to keep going on him because we talked about him so much with Barry, but the dude played offensive, defensive, special teams, made a play on every single phase of the ball. Like we love Ralph, but it's like, man, this was a tough person to compete with for that last spot. And he also plays he's technically an edge who can swing in. It sounds like Ralph might be getting the call back, and God, I hope so, because he's young, he's talented, and we've got some older guys on the line that he may be able to ease his way in with injuries or just when they move. I mean, Shelby Harrison's 34. He's not sticking around. He's not long for this team. It'd be great for them to not have to pick up a defender next year and be like, we got him. We got a full line. Let's go.
I couldn't agree more with that.
It allowed him to move on from Briggs. I mean, Briggs looked great in camp. He looked great at the end of last year. They felt so comfortable that they were able to cut people like Aquara, trade people like Briggs. They were so deep on that line.
I can't believe Juwan
turned into a massive room.
That was insane. It's like you guys picking up, like me and Angel started to show ourselves. We picked up you undrafted free agents, and look at you guys. You guys are thriving with the show.
Make the show better.
They were like, I don't know. He's kind of old. I don't know if we should put him in there. He's kind of old. I don't know.
You're the Joe Flacco of the show.
Joe Flacco.
Sam, this might be your last year, buddy.
Each year we just count on Sam being here for this season, and we just don't know if he'll actually be able to handle it a year from now. We'll take it one season at a time.
Easy there, Dr. 5 o'clock Shadow. I'm gonna be here for a while.
5 o'clock Shadow. He's the Dylan Gabriel.
Fair. Nailed it.
Oh man.
Hey, the growth starts game 1.
Here we go, baby.
September 7th.
You're
September
gonna see
7th.
Chad as a new guy in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right, guys.
September 7th. I don't shave again.
There you go.
Thank you guys for tuning in wherever you tuned in from. Please continue to hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all social media platforms, and shout out to X showing up today. over 200 viewers on that. I think that's our most on X.
Hey,
Shout out to Chad for taking care of that. And go ahead. Is he on delay again? And so, with that being said,
he's on a permanent delay. Look at him. There he is. Oh, there he is.
No, the whole screen's going bonkers. The whole screen. No, everything was going bonkers for a second. Did it one time with Barry, but we're back. I was listening to Angel.
10-4 Barry Shuck. We heard you.
I didn't want to forget our shout out for our JB.
Yes.
Go
ahead.
Our shout out for JB's coming up for here.
Yeah,
coming up for JB's Tavern. Come on out. Live
September 7th. We got Green Bay Packers tickets. We're not giving away. We're doing a $5 raffle for the tickets. We got a giant basket full of brown stuff that Sam got. We're gonna throw one of our shirts in there. We're gonna throw one of our license plates covers in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. That's about a
also, we got some signature stuff too that you got from. Shout out to Tuscarawas Browns backers who donated.
Shout out to those guys. Shout out to Rich and Jason, man. Them guys are awesome. I love them dudes.
It's censored. This is an autographed helmet by Bob Golick, Anthony Griggs. Man, there's 4 autographs on there that you guys are not going to want to miss out on. And then I got a actual Cleveland Browns back of a computer chair that is signed by none other than the Hanford Dixon.
That's what's up, dude. That is what's up.
We're gonna raffle those off. Yeah, it's $5 a ticket, guys. Come down to JB's, have a couple drinks with us. September 7th, we'll be there at 9 in the morning. I think we're gonna go live about 10. We'll be live to about 12:30. We're gonna announce all of the winners at halftime. It's gonna be a great time. They got good food. They got actually a barbecue truck. The notorious PIG, it will be there as well. He is the, the barbecue guy that will be there. It's gonna be a good time. Come down there, drink some beers with us, and have a good time. It is a full moon that night, though. I figured that out earlier. So be careful.
We'll watch the we'll watch the game together most likely. So come on, have fun. I mean, support a local tavern too, so that'll help them out. We'll let you guys go on that. We'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same platforms. Until next time, like always, go Browns.
Go Browns.